All right, here we are for a lap of Circuit Americas. Hopefully you guys find this beneficial. So I'm going to start here as we head to the last corner. This last corner is obviously sets up the lap because they're such a long straight. So that's why I wanted to start back here. I look for the white line that goes across up here. I'm looking for this line as my break point. You can use some of the red curb and then try to hit the little yellow in here and fan on out. So go through here, brake hard, turn in, try to get that yellow if you can, full throttle on the way out. One of the important things with that corner is that you have to control that entry speed because it wants to wash out as you come over a crest. So once you get that entry speed right, it gets easier and easier to actually accelerate out. So it's definitely a slow in, fast out kind of corner to me. There are a few of those on this track. Actually, this track is a little more technical. I think people give it credit for. I think people hate it because they're not fast or something, but it's very hard sight lines in places, can't see apexes, but that's the challenge at times. So now we head down the front stretch. Again, there's a white line. They use a lot of these at the 100-foot mark boards and such. This line, it happens to be the end of pit road line. So as we come up here, you can vaguely see the pit road line that cuts across here, and you can see it here, and it comes across the track. So that's what I'm looking at for to brake. You cannot see the apex over here, but I know that I follow these kind of marks in and try to just clip this curb. A couple of these curbs, it's like you just want to kiss them, especially the ones in the hairpins. They seem to throw the car up in the air. Otherwise, you just can't get on power and get the run down the straights. So brake heavy right there at the marker. Try to just clip this curb and back on power and down the hill. The other thing with these second gear corners to me is that you have to kind of think of the pedal attached to the steering wheel. In terms of when you push the pedal, you got to be releasing steering, especially in the second gear ones, or else the backing gets loose. And I think in this lap, actually, I do that incorrectly in one of the hairpins, so you'll see me scrambling. But come down the hill here, I start looking for the curbing, and the curbing has black marks on it. And that's pretty much where the race line is. So those black marks start to kind of appear right here. You can see them through here. That's where I try to make sure I hit the car and get up on the curb there. You can actually get a little bit of the red without getting a 1x2, but you don't really have to. This corner is obviously pretty easy to take flat, and then it's all about setting up for the next one. So as I come into this corner, I like to be on this right side, on the curb, underneath the Patron word. Whatever you use as your visual sight, but I like to be on this right side, and this one's very important because it sets up the whole train. You get kind of the first one wrong here. The rest of them are kind of like these decreasing, slowing corners that you're going through, so you kind of have to try to maintain as much as you can through this first one and get the car in the right spot, or else you're kind of all out of sorts for the rest of them. So as we come down here, I'm looking at that yellow curb, so I know I want to just like touch the outside of the tire to that yellow. You don't want to hit those. They throw the car up. They mess the car up. All kinds of havoc with them. But try to get as close to it as you can. It's wide open throttle as you come through here. Then the next one, similar thing, except now we've got to start slowing the car down. So you'll see I'll start braking just a bit. Kind of barely touching throttle at times as you come through this first and second one. Because you kind of have to, as I said, it's decreasing all the way. You're kind of slowing the car all the way to the left, the final left-hander one. So slowing the car, accelerate, slowing the car, and trying to accelerate out then to the last one. Every one of those I try to touch the curb just a little bit. As I said, just kiss that yellow. This last one, though, is kind of interesting because to me it's a double apex. You want to come in, let me forward the car here a little bit. I want to come in somewhat over where you can almost straighten this part of it and clip, because my apex is almost where that curb is. Of course, right where they put the curb to hit. Anyway, it's like a double apex to me. So I want to apex there and swing out, and then apex again where you see the sign up here. So I try to take both pieces of that and arc it, because I want to be that kind of is my late apex point over here, I guess, on the right side. I like to be on the right as we go through here in this car. To me, it's the best way to maintain momentum. So I like to be a little bit out, now back in for the second apex, so that now I'm set up on this right side of the track. I want to be set up on the right so that I can make this left. I get it right. I don't have to lift. Maybe I have to breathe a little bit, but you can maintain pretty good speed then down through here. And I really don't care if I end up on the right side because I have to brake anyway for that next corner. So I'll come down in here, little bit of lift, back on the power. Now the uphill, another blind, trying to hit the first part of the curb here and hang on to it. There's kind of a road that comes in up here. And I'm trying to get close to the road here and then leave the curb and exit off the end of the curb to shoot to that left hand that's over there. But the road and the end of the curb are kind of my visuals that I try to use. So I try to get over here at the road, yep, on power and exit at the end of that. And you can see, you know, I'm not all the way at the end, but I like to exit right on the red and white part of the curb on the end of it, so that hopefully I can stay wide open through this left-hander. The little bump will throw you if you have some steering wheel angle in, so you got to be kind of have it turned before then. But when you get that right, yep, you're full throttle. No worry about getting a 1X on the outside of the next part. So, yep, able to maintain pretty high. Yep, no problem. All right, fourth gear, fifth gear, all the way down to the next corner. This corner, I'm looking at the marks here, this dark section. I want to brake here near the end of this dark section, down to second gear for another apex that you can't see. This one I even hate on my triples because it's right in the A-pillar, so it's very hard to see. And if you hit it, it throws the car up in the air, and you can't get on the power, and your straightaway speed is completely screwed. So anyway, I like to try to clip it if I can. Again, braking at this point here. Hard on the brakes. See if I can clip it. Yeah, it's a little too much. On power and down. All right, let's go through this straightaway. Oops. Long, long draft straight. All right, we get down here to the brake zone. This lighting is different because this is the AMC session that I was in. I did a race here just to try to help myself control incidents. Figured a race would make me think about it more. Practice session, I was kind of all over the place, getting too many X's. So anyway, I'm looking for the 100-foot board. You can't read these numbers, you can't barely see them. Even in this lighting, the lighting for ours I think is a little better for these, but it's worse on the other part of the track for the other ones. Anyway, there's a white line down there too, so I'm looking for that 100. That's where I'm going to do my braking. If I was here racing and I was in a driver's meeting, I'd be yelling and screaming at the steward to put some cones out there because you really just can't see those boards. So we come down, there's the 150, the 100 in the white line, on the brakes hard then to make this. Barely clip it. And then down to third. All right, this corner, double apex. You're going to, you know, take the first one, swing out, take the second one, but it should be kind of a continual arc with the wheel. So I'm slowing down really to the outside point. I'm not thinking about slowing. I'm thinking about slowing for this corner, but I'm thinking I can trail brake all the way to the outside point before I kind of make the arc in and then accelerate through the second one. So let's see if I'm actually able to do that here. On the brakes, kind of trailing. Now I can get back on the power for the second part of it and all the way out. But it's definitely a double. Kind of treat that as one big corner. So you can kind of slow, you know, you're not slowing to that first point. You're slowing more to the midpoint of that. All right. Fun corner that you see the pros taking about 1,000 lines. I like to be a little wider here to try to get the car straight for the next one. Some people swing really wide. Some people will take it tight. I don't think it matters. So it's what you're comfortable with. I'm more comfortable with that midline so I can keep the car straight and try to get a good acceleration off this last one. Of course, this lap I think I do mess up the acceleration part. So down to second. Barely clipped this one on power. I just did not unwind fast enough to get on the power as hard as I did. In any case, we're still going, and now we're looking at the Budweiser sign. You want to be kind of mid-track here. The biggest mistake I see people make here is they try to apex this first corner, and this is really set up for the next kind of 3. You're going around this wide so that you can get close and hang all the way through the next corner. So I really don't care where the car is here. I want to be out wide in that so that I can get down to the curb here, because I want to be down to that curb. Same thing. It's like a double, but then there's a third apex that kind of creeps up on you. So it's, try to clip the first one. You go over it like I did, then let it fade out, but you're still kind of constant radius with the wheel. Then get to the second one. Let's see if I'm able to hold it. Yep, so now there's kind of the third, but I like to hold that car tight if I can all the way through here. So all the way through and then back over quickly. All right, another corner I'd be bitching at the steward to throw some cones at. I don't have a good reference yet for this corner. I'm believing that it's mainly this dark thing is what I've been using. So I use these dark marks to say that's where I need to go. You can't see the yellow curb, but you definitely want to clip this curb so that you can maintain speed through this corner. You can stay in fourth, not third, and carry a lot of speed through without going out and getting a 1X. But you can't even see it is the thing, so you kind of have to know where your brake point is, and it's very vague here, very hard. But I'm using these markers for now. So brake right after them, then clip the yellow a little over and on power all the way through. So back to this corner, same thing right there at the line. Clip the yellow if I can, on power and out. And that's a lap. So what I'll do now is I will rewind the lap and play it just at full speed, so you have a whole lap at full speed. Here you go. Yeah,